Hey, what is up guys, I'm KBHD here, and if you saw my Reddit AMA a couple of days ago, then you saw one of the questions was, I'm trying to start my own YouTube channel, I was wondering what equipment do you use and do you recommend what you have? And my answer, 99% of the time, is nope. No, like I don't recommend what I use on a daily basis to most people. Like you might see me prodding Austin Evans or someone who does something similar to me on Twitter to switch to red or switch to the dark side or something like that. But a red weapon, or pretty much any cine camera, is total overkill for not just YouTube, but for most of what you could possibly get out of it on the web. But I use stuff like this because I love it. I made a dope tech video all about the red weapon and why I use it, what it's capable of, and things like that. But for most people, it's not a good choice. So before I used the weapon Helium and shot in 8K, I used the Red Epic and shot in 6K. And before that, I shot with the Red Scarlet. And before that, I was actually using the Canon C100 back in my college apartment. Before that, it was the Canon 5D Mark II. Before that, the Canon 60D. And before that, the Canon T2i, my first DSLR. But before that, it was the Sanyo Zacti CG10.
The most important statistics really are that it does shoot in 720p HD at 30 frames a second and 60 frames a second VGA resolution, and takes 10 megapixel photos. So here it is, guys.
Fast forward to last week, I found one of these brand new unopened on Amazon, so of course I picked one up. First thing you notice out the box is it's way small. Not just smaller than other cameras I've used, but even smaller than most smartphones now, probably smaller than the phone you're watching this on. It's hard to understand exactly what I mean until you get some scale, but it's rocking a 700 milliamp hour rechargeable battery, so that gives you an idea. And a big selling point for this guy used to be that it's super portable. That's why it's the pistol grip design. It would be great for vlogging because you could just turn it around and point it at yourself. You could shove it in a pocket and just keep it everywhere you go. It fits in places that today's cameras don't. Obviously, it's not the same quality as today's cameras, but you get that point. For specs, it has a 12 megapixel sensor. It actually advertises 10 megapixels on the box, but that's in 16:9, and you can take it up to 12 megapixels and use that whole 4:3 sensor if you dig in the menus. And it has a 6.8 to 34 millimeter lens, so about 5x optical zoom, maybe a little less, but it says 5x, and that's from a maximum aperture of f3.5 to f3.7. So not the widest max aperture in the world, but it can definitely blur backgrounds if you get the subject close to the camera and you use the old trick of zooming in as far as you can while being as close to your subject as possible. It does work for any lens, and you can create a blurred background even with the CG10. And it advertised a 60 times digital zoom, but we all know how I feel about digital zoom. I've talked about it before, it's about as fake as the leather on the side of this camera, so no point in using it, but optical zoom is real and it's useful, and that's a big point, again, a good selling point for this camera. Also, I like the warning that, hey, this camera might heat up a little bit while you're recording, but just ignore it, that's supposed to happen. But yeah, this little 8-year-old camera shoots 720p video right to SD cards, has mics built in, has this built-in 3-inch display, which is, again, about the same size as some other cameras out here today, has autofocus, even has a macro mode for close focus, and if you give it enough light, it can actually take some footage that looks pretty decent. Certainly good enough for YouTube in 2017. Now, okay, this is gonna look a bit different to you because you just watched a bunch of red footage, but for an 8-year-old camera, this does okay. So moral of this tiny story is it's not all about the quality of the video, it's more about what's in the video itself. So people who are trying to get started don't have to go buy a great camera. You could probably start shooting a video right now on the camera on the smartphone you're watching this video on. So the best advice that I can give to someone who's trying to start making videos on YouTube is not about what equipment to buy, it's just to start making videos with what you have now. And then the rest will come. So get out there and create. Okay, back to your regularly scheduled programming. Thanks for watching. Talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.